right, everybody, welcome to another episode of Chamber Chat. I'm here with a very special guest, and I'm going to let her introduce herself, and we'll kick it off from there.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Simon. Hey, everybody. If you don't know me, you'll get to know me. My name is Cassie Cruze. I'm with the Center Against Rape and Domestic Violence, CARDV, and I just started with them for about a month ago.
Yeah, you are brand new.
I'm very brand new. Not brand new to Willamette Valley, but I'm brand new to CARDV.
So, and we'll touch on some of that in a second, but for the dozens of people that are going to be watching this, you know, we have a huge following.
All 26 of you.
Yeah, exactly. What's CARDV? Most people probably know what CARDV is, but what's CARDV all about?
Absolutely. So CARDV, as I had said, is a center against rape and domestic violence. We are here, and our mission comes out twofold. We are working to protect those individuals who have endured abuse and who are in survivorship currently. And our job is really to help end domestic violence and sexual violence.
And it's obviously, well, with most nonprofits, it's work that we wish you guys never had to do.
Right.
But I don't know if it's fair to say it's busy, right?
Yes,
there's unfortunately a lot of it, right?
Yeah, and the pandemic didn't help with that either. I mean, if you looked at rates, you know, abuse rates have gone up within domestic violence, and it is sad. It's work that, you know, I wish we didn't, like you said, I wish we didn't have to do, but I'm grateful we're here, and I'm grateful for all the many hearts and individuals and our advocates that support individuals. People call our hotline, because it's not just people who are dealing in the midst of their survivorship of the incident that just happened, but these are individuals who may call our hotline 10 years after their own incident in their own life, you know, just needing someone to talk to. So we have some amazing individuals that work for us, and our lines are 24/7, so there's always someone at our hotline. So if anyone ever needs anybody, or anyone knows that anyone needs anybody, we're there for them.
Yeah, and when you talk about the hotline, and we can get into some more of the details in a second, but what is the process if somebody, and we'll put the number on the screen so people can see, but what's the process? What should they expect when they call the hotline? When
they expect to call the hotline, you'll instantly be you'll reach a person, and they'll just kind of walk you through, and they'll just locally, yeah. So this is all locally. These are Willamette Valley residents that you'll be speaking to, all trained professionals that you'll be speaking to, and it's kind of dependent on the person's needs. Some people, they just need a person to talk, because maybe they're coming up on an anniversary, or maybe they just need someone who's like-minded, that's not a friend or a family that they can speak to. Other times it's someone who's actually just needing assistance, so they go through a process of doing intakes and everything else, and to really just identify what that survivor needs. And sometimes when your life has just tragically hit you, you don't always know what you might need. So that survivor may just kind of do an inquiry to see what your needs are, and maybe uncover some things that someone may not even realize and know that they may have needed to begin with.
Well, and talking about needs, so this may be something, you know, I don't know, but I am sure you get calls where people need immediate help. They need a place to stay, a place to go, a place to, you know, potentially take kids with them, and that sort of thing. So, you know, that's available. Yeah,
absolutely. And something to kind of to mention as well is that, you know, we have our shelters here in Benton County, and we're working fervently currently to bring a shelter to Lynn County. So we are really reaching our community, you know, out in that East Lynn County area. So, you know, for everybody who's already helped us so far to kind of help achieve those goals, thank you hugely, very much so, for making that happen. But, you know, there are people who do need to get out of their situations immediately, and our survivors are there, and they work closely with law enforcement, Department of Human Services, and a myriad of other agencies and organizations to really help elevate a survivor's life and to get them out of that situation.
Well, and so it's again, and this is where the education piece comes in. If I'm calling and I really don't, I know something has happened, I know it's bad, it's traumatic, and I don't know what my options are, that's okay to call then.
Absolutely.
Well. You don't need to be like, hey, I need this, this, and this.
No, and most people don't know.
Yeah,
right, exactly. Right. And the thing with, you know, when you hit your traumatic moment in your life is sometimes you don't know what you need. You really don't, and that's what they're there for. They are trained. They are there to ask those kind of those questions to get a survivor possibly thinking, you know, maybe there is food insecurity. And because sometimes when people have lived a situation for so long, their situation's been normalized, and so they recognize that there is food insecurity, there are shelter needs, there is, you know, sometimes what we do have, I should say, is we have a healthy checkup, a healthy checkup on your relationships guide, because sometimes not everyone's trained to know what a healthy relationship looks like. And it's just a quick little guide to sit there and to check off, and if you answer maybe one or two or more of those questions, you might find yourself not in a healthy relationship.
And can you Can you report or talk to someone anonymously?
Absolutely, and that's that's one thing I do love about this agency. And even before I had started working for CARDV, something I'd shared even in my own home is if there is something going on with one of the students in their school, because not every survivor is ready to make that first initial step.
Oh, yeah.
And it actually takes most survivors 13 times of leaving and going back before they actually make that committed step to leave. 13 times, yes, on average. So for those individuals that you're calling, because things like DHS, teachers, the hospital, those are mandatory reporters. Our advocates are not mandatory reporters. So if someone's needing just a safety plan and to get that information out there for the first time, our advocates will listen to you and walk with you along that process and really help you. That's something I have to say I've appreciated this entire time, but even before I worked for the agency, that because a lot of people are too scared to make those bring darkness to light, so to speak, because they don't know how their life is going to change once they open their mouth and share their information. And this allows them to share and then safety plan along the way.
How you're obviously newer, so I don't know if you know these numbers, but how many people do you help a year, a month, or whatever the metric is? So
it's a good thing that you asked that. And I just looked at an email that was sent to me. Yes, I know, both of us. It looks like we had served over 2,020 individuals last year. We helped in that year of 2022. And we helped about, I would say over half of that was adults, and the other part of that was children, because you have a secondary survivor. Because if one parent is being abused, those children may not be being abused, but they're considered secondary survivors because they're living in the home with the abusive parent or guardian or whoever that may be or situation, and so they're considered secondary survivors themselves. So we help out the survivor and their family.
That's like 7-8 people a day. All year. Yeah, we
every day. Currently we average about 16 people in our shelters a day, and then that was for 2022. And then now, once we start really working and getting that Lynn County shelter solidified, we'll be serving more people.
Man, that's well, it's incredible that it's available, but that's a staggering number.
But the sad thing is, we're not reaching everybody.
Well, yeah, that's
and that's what's even sadder, because people don't always make that first step. They don't make those calls, and and if the more people we can help, the more people we can see going from surviving to thriving.
Well, I'm assuming if there's children involved, obviously that complicates the matter on both sides. Obviously, there's more people to take care of, which is a valid factor, but then also maybe it's unfair of me to say, there's an option to stay because of the kids, right? Because you're going to upend their lives. I can stick it out.
Statistically, sometimes that has been a factor for some people not to leave their abusive relationships. But however, once, like I said, there's that 13 times you leave and come back number there. A lot of times people end up do leave because they're kids. They don't want their kids to end up in the same situations in them, or something may happen to the children, and that was the last straw. It was okay to hit the person initially, but it's not okay to hit the children.
In terms of CARDV and the organization itself, when you how do you look after each other within? I'm not talking about the people who come in, but I gotta think this is heavy work.
It is
for the staff.
It is. I'd have to say our advocates. There's if anyone's not familiar, there's a thing called secondary kind of trauma, where you listen to someone's story. You see firefighters get this, police officers get this. Advocates, they get this as well. However, I have to say I really appreciate the work that CARDV has done, because they have created a wellness center within our organization that has a counselor on staff, so our advocates have someone to talk to, and they work fearlessly to make sure that they are taking care of our advocates, and that they're meeting those needs and addressing that. Whether it's just I have to say, like, what was it? Just last week, what was it? It was a Random Acts of Kindness Day. So just something kind of brighten the mood in the center, our advocacy center, and then our other area. They made little post-its that just said, you matter, you're important, you're loved, and just kind of those words of affirmation really do help. But it is having that ability to speak to someone that it does, that can listen and be there for you, just like our advocates do for survivors.
Yeah, because every call has got to be.
Yes, it's an emergency.
It's not a pleasant call to get.
No.
You might be able to affect it in a positive manner,
Absolutely.
But that's a heavy call to get if that's your job.
Yes, every day.
Which is why I think, you know, obviously we have a ton of nonprofits in the area, and they all do fantastic work. I think I can't imagine there's anyone who doesn't have a soft spot for CARDV and the work you do. It's obviously incredibly important, but it literally affects people immediately.
Absolutely. Well, right? You're right. It's not just a survivor, and trying to give a number here, it's like 1 out of every 4 women are a survivor.
Yeah.
Whether it be sexual abuse or domestic violence.
Yeah.
So you look at that 1 of every 4 and the ripple effect that we have on each other's life. So if someone ends up sort of being a survivor themselves, you know, that's not just the survivor that's being impacted. You know, that's relationships they hold, to the work relationships, to the whole community, the ripple effect that it causes. You know, I don't think people realize it's not, I mean, for years we thought that was just something that stayed in people's homes. However, the impact has just been, is community-wide.
Yeah, exactly. And those kids see that, and that's normal for those kids now, right?
Absolutely.
It's something to expect. In terms of you yourself, you mentioned right at the start here that you're not new to the area. No. Right, you've been around. What else have you done around? So
for me, before I came to CARDV, which like I said, I've only been here for about a month. I actually was with the Lebanon Downtown Association. I was their Main Street manager for about 4 years, and my job was just to promote our downtown, bring events to the Lebanon area, and I had a really great time doing it.
So you worked with Rebecca?
I did work with Rebecca. Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
You know what? I love giving that woman hugs. So everybody, if you want someone to hug,
don't do it.
Rebecca Grizzle is your person, and she gives them freely.
And she hates hugging.
Oh, huh.
Well, if oh wait, maybe that's a me thing.
I don't know.
Man.
I don't know.
Okay, well this just got real awkward. But she's okay. She's okay to work with. So part of Chamber Chat is obviously we want to talk about, you know, the business or the nonprofit. But then we also want to know about the people behind the business.
Yeah.
So you cool if we find out a little bit more about you?
Please, absolutely. So I would like something I like to share, because I think this is important for kind of like that full circle effect. Is, you know, something I love. I feel like CARDV is really meaningful to me. Is I'm actually a 10-year survivor of domestic violence myself. And so to me, the work that I do here and I have done for the community is quite empowering. And I love it. I love to be able to sit there and say that, you know, people can go from, you know, those really hard situations where, you know, you may feel like life is very bleak, and then you can gain that sense of strength with the right supports. And you know, CARDV, it was not one that I had necessarily needed when I went through my time. However, knowing the agencies like CARDV and others, and seeing that type of support, it's quite holistic for me to be able to be working for the organization now.
That's super cool.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. Other things, I volunteer a lot. If you may find me in, you know, every February, about the second weekend of February, I'll be wearing a tutu for a Run Your Tutu Off event.
Your tutu off.
Yep, with Furniture Share.
That just happened.
It did just happen. Yeah. And I actually won Best Tutu for that event. I had what I called
That's quite an award.
Thank you. I make my thing. So I had what was called a petty tutu. I put my rainbow tutu on that I've had for the past forever. And then I put a petticoat underneath it. So it was massive tutu. I couldn't quite put my arms down.
Okay. Yeah, which is okay because you're running.
I actually, I'm volunteering.
Oh.
I would like to say I would run, but I'm a better volunteer. And then I'd have to pay attention.
And then you're not out of breath and sweaty in the end.
Exactly. I may be sweaty, but I'm definitely not out of breath.
Cool. Well, where'd you grow up?
So I grew up, funny enough, I grew up out of Jefferson. Moved to Oregon about, you know, the great 80s migration, as many Oregonians. Yeah. When I was about 6, moved up to Jefferson. And,
where from?
California.
Of course. Which part?
Well, we're kind of like the Bay Area, Santa Clara area. But yeah, loved that area. I shouldn't say I loved it. Couldn't play outside when I was a kid. Couldn't talk to strangers.
Why not?
I don't understand.
Is it just a rough area? No, Santa Clara's not a rough area.
No, but my parents were like, oh, don't go play in the front yard. You'll get kidnapped. Don't go talk to strangers. They'll take you. And then moved to Oregon. Oregon was like freedom. Moved to a hill up in Jefferson. And, you know, sat there, started talking to everybody I knew. And obviously it led me to a job where I talked to everybody I meet.
That's cool.
Yeah. So,
and school, went to school. Obviously school up here. Everything was cool.
Yeah, loved it.
Went through
school up here. I would wish I could say I was a Jefferson Lion, but I'm not. I went to the Christian school they used to have there back in the day.
That's all right.
Actually, and I'm currently right now finishing a degree with PSU, so I'm an online student.
Right on.
Which I'm loving.
What is your degree going to be in?
It's going to be in child and family sciences, or studies, excuse me.
All right.
Yeah, and I enjoy, and that's actually playing a lot and doing really well for me within my role for CARDV as well too.
All right.
So yeah, it's, you know, loving it.
If you weren't doing your job for CARDV and you could do any job in the world, what would it be?
Oh man.
Can be anything.
Goodness.
Keep it PG, but you know.
Thank you, I appreciate that. That actually limited my selection there for a second.
Yeah, so that's not bad.
And I don't know what I enjoy serving.
We asked the tough questions here.
Come on. I enjoy serving. I'd have to say, if I didn't do that, I'd have to be a millionaire so I could be philanthropic and I could serve my community and then greater.
All right.
That's the only thing I could think of, because I like to create systems. I like to see things to get stronger and better. So something along those lines.
That's cool. Well, if you were a millionaire, you would probably travel a little bit as well. So where's the coolest place you've ever been? Don't say Jefferson.
I will not.
No offense,
say
Jefferson.
No offense. I will not be saying Jefferson. I've been there too many times.
Yeah.
So the coolest place I've lived so far,
or visited.
So I'd have to say, I visited Mexico. I built houses down there when I was 14. For a youth mission that we had done.
Okay,
when I was
that's pretty cool.
It was awesome. We were building 2 stucco houses for some families. And
whereabouts?
Just out, I can't remember the exact town, but it's outside of Tijuana, about, I can't remember how far, but yeah, it's somewhere out there.
Okay.
And we, it was funny enough, there was a group of Canadians that were building houses as well. The Canadians didn't know, but we were competing against them to see who.
So nice.
Well, they are the nicest humans, but we were competing against them just to see who could get done faster. We didn't tell them that we were competing against them, but we were just. They
probably would have let you win anyway.
They may have,
They're
but
so nice.
They are the nicest. But we did win in
That's
our
pretty
own
cool,
mind.
huh?
It was awesome.
Building it. So what, it was for some, like, obviously mentioned the Christian school, like Christian mission kind of deal.
Yeah, it was.
That's cool.
So yeah, I went to Jefferson Baptist Church growing up, and
right on.
they had different mission trips that you could go on.
Yeah,
You know, I was 14, we went there, and then I lived in Hawaii for about 3 years when I was married to the military. And
dang.
I have to say, talk about nice people, and aloha spirit is a real thing, and that's probably one of the best places I've lived.
So you were in the military as well?
I was married to it.
Oh, okay.
So
I
was married to someone in the Navy for about 3. Yeah. So we lived there for about 3 years.
Nice.
Yes, it was lovely.
What about bucket list? Somewhere where you haven't been that you would love? Anywhere in the world.
My desire,
Don't say Jefferson.
I won't say Jefferson, no worries, I've been there again. But no, my desire, honestly, for bucket list is to go to each region that, I'm a heavily mixed person racially.
Okay.
So I want to go to each region just to kind of see how people lived and to walk and to travel the footsteps of kind of what has brought me to be today.
Like where?
So from the southernmost point of Africa, all the way up into Asia, which is more like the Middle East.
Yeah.
And then going into Spain, and then of course going into Mexico, and then some places outside that region. And
so you're like a mutt.
I'm a huge
all over the place.
I've said I don't anything from the Arctics because no one wants to be that cold.
No, that's miserable.
Yeah, no one wants to be that cold.
So part of traveling as well is obviously as you travel, you get a good sense of cuisine, right? You get a good sense of what you may or may like to eat.
Yes.
So if you were, and I got to figure out a better way to sort of lead this question in, because I'm always like, if you were on death row and this was your last meal,
all right,
what does that plate look like? What do you got on that plate? Anything.
Wait, can I have dairy?
It's your meal. I don't care.
All right, thank you. If it's my last meal and I can have dairy.
It better be more than just dairy.
I know, but it's been a while, so I might just stick with it. You know, I might have to get some lumpia because I really appreciate lumpia because I'm living in there.
Okay.
I would have to get. I would honestly just have to eat just a ton of Tillamook cheese because I've missed it so much. So
you can't eat dairy?
I'm not supposed to have dairy.
So you can't eat dairy.
Hard cheeses.
That's one of those things where, like, anytime you have like a dairy allergy or something, it's not like well, I shouldn't. It's like, no, you definitely should not.
I should not.
There's no like half eating dairy.
Kind of like cheese though, and the hard cheeses, it is. It's not so bad. The creams are when I stay away. So I might have some like heavy whipping cream, like a really good, like.
Oh, so you're just gonna go to town? You're like, screw it.
Oh yeah, you just said death row. My stomach's already gonna be hurting.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna be wanting death at that point.
Okay, fair enough.
Yes.
All right. What about something you've eaten that you would never eat again?
Oh, anything that comes out of the ocean, except for seaweed. I like seaweed, oddly enough.
So you could eat like sushi?
No.
Oh no,
that has
fish.
anything.
Okay,
no, don't even do that.
Really? Why not?
It's gross.
Like any fish?
I don't know. I don't even want to know. I've never even put a Brussels sprout in my mouth out of principle. Yeah, that happened.
I'm like, it's very rare. I'm speechless. But this is like no fish.
None. No, wow. I can see why people have moved like from different regions and they went away from the ocean because whoever that was.
You live like, well, what happened when you lived in Hawaii? That's all that people in Hawaii eat.
Poi and everything else. I said, have mine. Because here's the beauty. If we all eat the same thing, we would deplete our food source. So you need particular people like myself.
Oh, so you're helping.
I am helping. I'm helping the food web.
That's very generous.
You're welcome, people. By not eating anything that comes out of the water, you won't get it. Just, you leave me the candy and the delicious treats.
Dang.
You guys get the fish.
All right, that's fair.
And you guys get the Brussels sprouts too.
Okay, so obviously you're not going to be eating fish or dairy probably, but if you've come home from a hard day at work, you're sitting at home, you're in the backyard, you're just chilling out, you got some music going. What's playing? What's on your playlist?
Oh, you're gonna love this. So I just went to a concert last night. And I just saw Static X Machine. I don't know if you're familiar with Static X.
Nope.
Are you familiar with bands like Slipknot or anything metal?
Yeah.
Yes. Those are my heart loves because it's music that sings from the soul. It's a little heavier.
I was gonna say,
it's a little
Slipknot is not exactly what I would be like. Yeah, that's soul. It's from the soul.
Listen to the lyrics.
Listen to it. Well, okay, fair enough.
There you go.
So is that kind of your genre then? A little bit of heavy?
It's a little bit of that. I mean,
rock?
I'm a pretty eclectic person, but just coming from the concert last night, and it was it was a good show and made me really happy. It was the first metal concert I'd been to since oh my goodness, for a while actually. I can't even think the last one I'd gone to.
Nice. When did you? Well, where was it?
Oh, it was up in Portland.
Okay. Over like Motor Center or something?
Oh, no, actually I'm grateful it wasn't. It was actually a little bit smaller venue. It was at the Roseland.
That's a great venue.
Yes, it is.
I like going there, and then the Schnitz as well.
Oh, yeah. Yes. And actually we saw, what was it, Flogging Molly at the Cupboards last summer. Yes.
I've never seen them.
Oh, I've seen like 4 times.
I would love to see them.
You need to see them. I will let you know the next time they come to town.
Man, that would be pretty sweet.
You will love them. They put the best stage. I mean, from 20 years, actually no, about 15 years ago to today, the same stage show, great energy and everything.
What about movies? Best movie?
Fight Club.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, this is like this is good. This is a good side.
Like
this is a good side of you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm being honest, so I mean, I'm not buttering anything. I mean, everyone else knows me.
As opposed to everybody else lied on there.
Well, I just feel there's too many people who will watch this and go, she's not telling the truth.
You're like, no, she's a Fight Club person.
Yes.
What did you like about Fight Club? Good movie, by the way.
It was good. I think really what it was is that
the twist at the end.
Yes, when you're recognizing it was all being played in his head, it was his own sense of self-preservation to kind of come through and creating that.
It's like a Sixth Sense kind of thing.
Yes, that's another good one that I love. At the very end, you're like, yes.
Topical movie, just because it's out right now. My kids are like raving to go see it, and I just had a chat with a friend who wants to go see it as a group of adults after a few drinks. Cocaine Bear.
Really?
What do you think?
I don't even know yet. I just read about it. I mean, I haven't read about it. I just saw the name.
Awful, but amazing.
So they did give the bear cocaine?
No, it's like well, they don't give it. So it's based on like in the 70s. There was it's a true story. There was a drug smuggler plane or something coming. I think it was from Washington or somewhere. Anyway, they dumped out a bunch of cocaine because they thought they were being tracked or whatever. So they got rid of all this cocaine overboard. Fell in a forest or in some giant forest somewhere, and then a bear ended up overdosing on tons of cocaine, and the bear was dead, right? Oh, sad story.
Yeah.
Or maybe, I don't know, maybe it was an amazing last 20 minutes.
I can only imagine thrashing.
But yeah, but the premise behind this one is that the bear survives and is goes psychopath.
I could see that.
So it's awful.
Okay.
Terrible movie.
Is there campers?
Oh yeah,
okay,
that's part of it. It's kind of like a cross between Chucky, Sharknado. I mean, it's awfully bad.
Oh.
Even the.
Are you gonna go see it?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Are you gonna go to one of when it goes to bigger theater or one of our smaller local theaters?
A movie that is gonna be this Oscar worthy. I think you have to see on the big screen.
Okay. There we go.
I like the Picts or something in Albany.
There you go. Yeah, that one's a good one.
Which is pretty sweet. When you are so you've watched your movie, you're talking about all this stuff. What else do you like to do when you're just hanging out with some friends?
I go to the pub.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that?
Honestly.
You got a favorite one? Please be in Corvallis. Please be in Corvallis.
I have just now started to really get used to Corvallis, but I live in downtown Lebanon. So I can walk.
Schmitza then, probably.
No, I walk to Conversion Brewing. Or I walk to Growler.
So I just went to the DSA Awards. And Conversion won, I think, Small Business or New Business of the Year.
Small Business of the Year, yes, absolutely. Yeah.
I've never been there.
You've never been there?
No.
When you go, let me know. I'll buy you a Belfry.
All right.
That is one of the drinks I enjoy. And
you got yourself a deal.
There we go. They brew all their stuff, and actually, Conversion Brewing had won Small Business of the Year through the Oregon Main Street Awards a few years back in 2019.
So you're probably you are going to be one of the experts on downtown Lebanon.
I kind of feel like I should be.
What was the name of that? Wasn't there a breakfast place that just closed from like 35 years ago or so? I'm putting you on the spot now.
No,
or is it ice cream spot or something?
Are you probably talking about Big Town Hero? Because they had been around, they closed.
I can't remember what it was.
Okay.
But it was a sad story.
Or you're talking about we've had a couple. So is it recent?
Yeah, it was closed like last month.
Oh.
But you left, so it's not, you may not know.
I mean, may not know that one, but I know we just did lose our Big Town Hero that had been there for 30 some odd years.
Poor people.
It is sad. I have to say COVID was a very interesting time, and to see people trying to come back out of that.
Yeah.
Some people were able to survive, and sadly, it was ruined a lot. It ruined business for a lot of people, though.
Well, funnily enough, because we're kind of wrapping up here, a couple more questions. One is centered around COVID. So obviously, I don't think anybody really enjoyed the last 2-3 years. It kind of sucked for everybody.
Yeah, really kind of.
But there's some good things that come out of it, right?
Yes.
So let's do business first and then personal.
Okay.
What is something that's what's COVID been a silver lining for you? And I'm going to do a U-turn here because we're definitely lost.
Okay, excellent. I like being
lost.
All
right, so business. What's some
venture?
Some biz. Maybe it's CARDV. Maybe it's too new to be CARDV. Oh Lord.
Well, I don't know if we're gonna make it that. Everyone, watch out.
Keep going.
You hear any crashes, you know what just happened.
Yeah. So what's something good business-wise?
So business-wise, honestly, I would have to say business-wise, for me personally, it brought an ability to pivot, and to see the strength of community coming together. During that time period, it was really difficult. We knew events were closed. I will say,
Lebanon get hit hard too.
Well, yeah, and I'll say in Lynn County, we just really followed and adhered to those COVID guidelines and restrictions to make sure that when we held events like the Summer Bands and Brews or the concerts in the park, they could be held, and so we did create opportunities for people to come out. And I have to say that was probably the biggest silver lining. And as someone who's lived through trauma, we need things to normalize our lives.
Yeah.
And to be able to create a concert, even though people may have had to wear masks, even though I had to do social distancing or creating seating charts in an open area, it created a moment for people to...
I remember that.
Right? It created moments just for people to have a normalcy in their life again. And that felt good to be able to give that to community members and people within the community at that time.
And it's hard to stress, and obviously everybody went through it. But it's hard to stress how important the boring stuff was, the normalcy,
our norms,
the normal weekly meetings and stuff.
Going to greeters that people may end up feeling like they I have to get up, but no, really, I need that time. You didn't realize how much you needed that interaction, or even community support from your fellow business people. And until it was gone.
What about something personal?
Honestly, having PSU to go to an online school, because I can go.
That's right.
Because I can go to Portland State University and not even have to buy a parking pass, worry about parking, driving up there. So, and I also have to say, for a sense of family, it was really great to have my kids. I have a 21-year-old at the time who was in high school at the time. I have a 16-year-old, who was just actually finishing up their 8th grade year. And then I had my 13-year-old was in 6th grade at the time.
Oh man! And you got your hands full.
I did. Yeah. Well, they're pretty good. They're really good. But it was fun to have my kids home. It was fun to to be that and have that family unit. So those are kind of my two personal highlights.
Was it fun though? All the time.
All the time. Actually,
your kids are going to be watching this and they'll be like, "Mom, you're lying."
They probably won't because they don't want to watch me. So no, they actually we have a really great family dynamic in the sense of, if you need personal time, go to your room and you have no problem, and having your own space. So in our family, we give room for space and respect that, and it, so we honor it.
And it's kind of cool with, and a lot of these interviews we've done since COVID, a lot of people have been, sort of the general theme has been like, I just got rid of a lot of clutter in my life. And it's not even like the physical stuff. It's just like, do I really care about this?
Yes.
that I used to do. You know, and there's stresses that go with that as well.
Yes.
But I mean, that's important, right?
Absolutely, it is, because I think we fill our time rather than really dedicate our time to what really brings us joy. Or we have a lot. I think I felt like I've done a lot of that pre-COVID of losing that clutter of things to do.
Yeah.
But you know, it really did give you an opportunity to focus on what was important, and you know, family, my studies, and you know, creating community. That was the three main focuses for me during that time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a good time.
So we're wrapping up.
Yep.
If people want to get a hold of you, or maybe it's not you, maybe it's CARDV in general, how do they do that? What's all the numbers and maybe email? I don't know. Whatever you got.
Well, so if you want to get a hold of me directly, because we do have events coming up. We have our fun run coming up on May 13th. And if you want to become a sponsor, volunteer, or if you just want to become a runner, you can always...
We love a sponsor.
I do love a sponsor. I do, because you help make the world go around, along with those volunteers that put forth the work. And honestly, you can contact me at Cassie.Cruze, CASSIE.CRUZE at CARDV, CARDV.org.
I never
learned that. Yeah.
Why isn't she responding to my emails?
Or of course you can go to cardv.org to the website and follow us there. And I'm pretty sure Simon's going to have a number for the hotline that's going to be part of this. So if you yourself or anyone knows that needs that hotline, just talk to someone. Maybe you know you're 25, 50 years past your experience, but you just need to talk to someone. They're there to talk to you. Maybe something's happening in the moment. They're there to talk to you. Or maybe you just have questions because you're not sure if you're in a bad situation. They're there to talk to you. So call that hotline number.
And I think it's fair to say, you know, if somebody's watching this or somebody knows somebody who might want to see this, it's never a bad time to make that first call.
Absolutely,
right?
Never. I mean, that's why we're 24/7, because we're there for when you're ready.
Yeah. Thanks for hanging out.
Absolutely, I enjoyed it.
We just met each other, like, whatever, 32 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So
and we're fast friends. I'm buying him a beer after this.
Exactly. Next time I'm in Lebanon.
Yep.
Which I have to go see Rebecca at some point. So
there you go. And I'll be shown there.
Thanks for sticking around.
Thank you.
Thank you for being a part of it.
Absolutely.
And we will see you guys on another episode of Chamber Chat.
Absolutely.
See you later.